All right, welcome everybody. This is day 2 of, we're working on module 9, lesson 2 this week. Last time we met, we did the course arc, right? And we reviewed for the quiz. So we did the 9.2 course arc and I gave you guys the review sheet. Today, we are going to be doing the Everfi, the economy assignment, which I'll show you where to find that here in a minute. And I'll give you time to work on that. And then we are going to start our zombie project today, all right? Which the zombie project, the zombie apocalypse project is kind of this idea of what if everything economically crashes? Think of like The Walking Dead, The Last of Us, World War Z, I Am Legend, those classic, zombie movies where society as we know it, the grid collapses. How do you rebuild? What do you do? We're going to look at it a little bit more from an economic standpoint, but we're going to have some fun and do a project. We're going to start it this week, and then we'll work on it both days next week. It's for sure the focus of next week, but we need to just get a little bit started this week in order to do all of it in class, okay? But before we get into all that, I wanted to show you guys this cute cartoon that I think does a good job of talking about what free enterprise looks like. So we'll watch this, and then we'll get started on our Everfi. Old classic, the old cartoons, old Looney Tunes or anything. I used to watch this kind of stuff growing up all the time. My kids are like, what is this?
I say, old boy, we'll make a fortune on this idea.
Yeah, chum. I don't see how it can miss. No one's ever tried it before.
We're in luck. The guard is sound asleep.
All right, boys. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Step right this way. See the greatest little gadget ever invented. Selling today only for the bargain price of not $3, not $2, but the small sum of one single $5 bill. It's that handy little dandy, the Surefire pneumatic drill. With this instrument, you can work your way out of any situation. Just press gently against any obstacle and presto, in no time at all, you're on the other side.
What's going on around here?
Now I'll tell you what I'm going to do. With each and every purchase, you will receive absolutely free this little gem pocket file, plus one size 7 hacksaw.
Break it up! Break it up! 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So do I. Yeah, I love the old cartoons.
No, give me that file. They're a couple of wise guys.
I say, he's a nosy fellow.
Yeah, what we need here is a little more privacy.
Mice?
Yeah, mice.
Oh, pardon me. Mice? Help! Police! Help! Police! Wait a minute. I'm a policeman.
We've got to get out of here some way. Maybe this will do the trick.
Step right up and try your luck. Hit the bullseye and win a cigar. 3 shots for 1 thin dime.
Listen, you guys. I'll take 3 shots for nothing.
Congratulations, and the gentleman wins a cigar.
Now get to work on that rock pile.
Four. Well, chum, we're free at last.
Now I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm not only gonna give you one sledgehammer, but I'm gonna give you two. Absolutely free.
Okay, so I meant to show it yesterday, but we ran out of time and stuff. So just a fun cartoon again, showing free enterprise. All right, so economics and everything. All right, if you are just joining us, we are going to be we're going to work on Everfi here coming up. So I'm going to show you again how to access Everfi and then which one we're working on this week, which is the economy. And then we're going to start our zombie project today as well. All right. So the way that we need to check and see which Everfi assignment we need to be working on, all right, is remember you go into modules, go into 9.2, and then check the name of the assignment. So last week it was Everfi the marketplace. This week it's going to be Everfi the economy. Okay. So you want to make sure that you're doing, because there's a bunch of lessons right within Everfi. So you want to make sure you're doing the right one, because if you do the wrong one, I'm not going to give you credit for this one. You still got to go and do it. Right. So it's just better to check the first time and make sure that you are choosing the correct one. All right. So then you're going to want to get Clever open. So everybody needs to do this. Go ahead and open up Clever. So go ahead and open up Clever. And once you open up Clever, we're going to open up Everfi. So remember last week when you looked it up, if you didn't save it, you can click it. But then once you open it, make sure you heart it. And that way it'll be on your favorites list. And then it's faster and easier to find. Okay. We're going to launch Everfi. And once you're here, remember that your tabs or your programs are going to look different. They're going to be going up and down and they're more colorful, but they're going to have the same name. So yours will look a little different, but you're looking for Money Moves, Marketplace, and Everfi Financial Literacy. We are still in Marketplace. Okay. So we're going to be in Marketplace. That's the one we're going to be in. So give me a thumbs up once you're logged into Everfi and you see your Marketplace tab thing. And then we're going to go in and you should be doing this with me because now I'm going to give you 30 minutes to work on this once we get in there. And then after that 30 minutes, then we're going to start our project. Okay. And you should be able to at least get one attempt done of the assignment in 30 minutes. And then if you don't score well, or if you want to redo it and get a higher grade, you can do that on your independent time, but at least give you time in class to do it and then hopefully get a decent grade the first time. So before we get into it, just to review a couple of things, okay? The Everfi Marketplace, the economy assignment, okay, it's going to be within the Marketplace program. It's going to be the blue building, which we'll go in here in just a minute. Remember, you have to get a 70% or better. So this is going to be true of all Everfi assignments. You must get a 70% or better, okay? When you are done taking the assessment, you need to take a screenshot that includes your score, your name, and the name of the assignment, okay? And then that screenshot gets submitted to Module 9, Lesson 2, the Everfi economy. This is an example down here of what that screenshot should look like, okay? So when it gives you your results, it'll say like assessment results, it'll have the score. Up here, it'll say, instead of marketplace, it'll say, this one says investing basics. That was last week's, but it'll say the economy, and then your name will be in the right-hand corner. But this is what has to be submitted, okay? If I don't see all three things, then I'm going to tell you to resubmit it. And you're going to get frustrated with me, but again, this is what they all have to look like. So you do not leave that assessment page until you've taken that screenshot, or you're going to have to redo it, okay? I also have posted an example of what this looks like in the announcements. So if I comment that your screenshot isn't correct and you need to go, then I'm redirecting you here. I said, go check out the Canvas announcements where I tell you what the screenshot needs to look like. So it repeats what information needs to be there, and then it links you to the document that, again, is an example of what the Everfi should look like. The Everfi screenshot should look like, okay? So this is just a larger version of what I just showed you, okay? Your score should be there, the name of the assignment, and your name. And every week, that's what needs to get submitted. So I know that you completed the correct assignment, okay? And I know that it's yours, and then again, that's 70% or better, okay? So any questions on that? Give me a thumbs up. You understand what the screenshot looks like, okay? This is what it has to be. So when I say you need to resubmit, this is what I'm asking for, okay? So make sure you do not close that assessment page till you've taken a screenshot or taken a picture on your phone. You could always take a picture, but if you take a picture on your phone, make sure you're getting the entire screen, because I have to see those three things. Yes, so last week, if you look at, so let's go into, when we go into the program, so go ahead and launch Marketplace, okay? I'm gonna go to preview course, so it'll show it. Okay, so the orange building, see how it said Marketplace? See how the blue building says the economy? So for the first several weeks, all the assignments are within Marketplace, but then there's different names to the lessons, right? So the first week was in Marketplace, doing Marketplace. This week, we're in Marketplace, we're doing the blue building, the economy. So when you see where I'm pointing down, you're within the Marketplace game. Sorry, it's a little blurry, but we're doing the blue building right here. And so just like we did with Marketplace, you click on it and then you click your way through the lesson game until you've completed it, and you get that assessment page, and then you take that picture and submit it. Yeah, okay, so like I said, sometimes it takes a week or two. If you weren't with us last week or something and you didn't see the screenshot, then that's gonna help knowing where to see it, okay? I've posted it, so if I said to you, go check out the Canvas announcement, this is what I'm talking about right here, and then I linked a picture of it. Okay, so we're in Marketplace, the blue building. You're completing the lesson, and then when you're done, down here where it says screenshot example, this is what I need turned in. Only difference, yours, instead of Marketplace investment game or investment basics, it'll say the economy. Okay, but this is the example of each week what it'll look like, but that way I can verify that you're submitting the right assignment, it's yours, and that it's got the appropriate score. Okay, so I'm gonna set a timer for 30 minutes. Okay. Actually, I'll set it for 20, and then let's see how we're doing. And if we need more time, then I'll give an extra 10 minutes. Let's see how we're doing. Okay, so I'm gonna set a timer for 20 minutes. Okay, and go ahead and start. So we're working in Everfi. We're working on the blue building, the economy. Okay, so your goal in the next 20 minutes, take your time, though. I'm not trying to rush you. If you need more time, I can give more time. I won't give more than 30 minutes today, but 20 to 30 minutes should be enough time, hopefully, to at least get one attempt done and do well. Or if you need to, you can redo it again then on Friday. Okay, so give me a thumbs up. You're in there. You're getting started. You're good. So you are working in Everfi on the blue building. All right, so I've set the timer. It's going. 19 minutes left. Okay, so roughly till about 1 o'clock, and then we'll see how we're doing. Okay, and we'll check in. Let me know if you have questions. But again, make sure that screenshot for submission looks this way. Do not leave that assessment page until that's done. Yes, Ladybugs, are you okay? So it's the economy building, the blue one within the marketplace program. So we're doing that blue building. So it looks like, okay, cool. Okay, timer went off. How are we doing? Are we done? Do we need a little bit more time? Okay, you're done. Done. Anybody feel like they're getting close? Do we want like another 5-10 minutes? Okay. All right. Like I said, we can do a little bit more time. Okay, so those of you who are done, work on something else for a few minutes. Don't go anywhere though, because within the next 10 minutes, we're going to start our project. Okay, I'll set a timer for, we'll do like another 7 or 8 minutes. Okay. All right. All right. So we'll be done like 1:07. Okay, and then we'll start working on the project. Okay. So hopefully you were able to finish or at least get one attempt done. If you still have a little bit more to do, keep that tab open, okay, so that you can finish it up later today or during independent time, okay? But because of time, we are going to jump over and start our project, all right? Because I need to get through at least the intro and beginning parts today so that we'll be on track for next week. All right, any questions about what we're doing this week in Everfi? So you're doing the economy, the blue building, submit the screenshot, make sure it's at least a 70% or better. Okay, you can redo it as many times as you need if you want to get a better score. These are summative, so it's a great way to boost your grade, especially if you don't love the multiple choice ones and stuff. This is a great way to kind of counteract that. Okay, give me a thumbs up if we're good. We understand? All right, awesome, awesome. Okay, so now you're going to need to have your Canvas open. All right, we're going to go into our class and we're going to get started. All right, so I need you to go into our class, open modules, and you're going to go down to 9.2 and find the zombie apocalypse tab right there under 9.2 quiz, economy of the zombie apocalypse. So this is where you're going to want to be. Okay, so I'll give you a minute to get there. While you're doing that, I'm going to get mine open. Okay, are we here? We're ready? Anyone having a hard time finding it? Lost? Not sure? All right. So once we're on this page, okay, we are going to open the Zombie Apocalypse project worksheet. And you're going to make a copy. Okay. Now, once you've done that, you're going to save it to your Google Drive, okay, because we're going to be working on this several different days. So you want to have that open, save to your Google Drive, and then you want to make it shareable, anyone with the link. All right, I'll give you a minute to do that. All right, how are we doing? You have it open, you're ready to go? Let's do a chat one. Give me a yes, you have it open, you're ready to go. Give me a yes in the chat. You want to do this with me, okay? This project is worth a lot of points. We're gonna go over all that here in a minute. It's something we're gonna want to do together, all right, and stuff, because it is going to include quite a few parts. All right. So the zombie apocalypse project, okay, I want you to imagine that everything has collapsed, okay? And this is the state of the world.
Shop everyday low prices on a huge selection of home furnishings at Living Spaces, where you'll also discover clearance.
Where the hell's our backup? We need every available trooper at the East Gate, now! Christ, they're climbing the wall! We need backup right now at the East Gate! The runners are climbing. I repeat, the runners are climbing the wall. Oh, shit! Help! Help! What the hell? They're climbing the wall? Cooper down! Cooper down!
You just accidentally opened the wall. Okay. Okay, so not to be dramatic, but well, this is from The Walking Dead. All right. So if you watch, it even tells you season 11, episode 23. So if you want to go get the whole show is stressful, right? Every time they settle and they're like good, you're like, okay, we're gonna start prospering. Like something happens and they have to start over and somebody like dies. You know, it just never ends. Go ahead, Kenneth.
On the bright side, if everyone dies, the unemployment rate becomes 0.
Way to put a spin on it. Yes. Okay. And we will actually be touching on that a little bit. All right. Very good. Very good. Your dad likes watching. Yeah. My husband's like into all the zombie stuff. Like he loves it. And everything. I like the new one, the Last of Us. I think it's like a nice kind of more current uptake on the Walking Dead and stuff. But you're gonna see probably more clips than you want from all these shows. Me and Miss Rather spent like 3 hours pulling clips on Friday. Like I said, we got way too into it. And then we would find like the perfect clip for a question. And then they would say the F word, or they would do something. You're like, darn, I can't use it. So it was a little frustrating. All right. So we're going to jump over into Canvas real quick. All right. And I want to talk about the rubrics. Okay. So there are 3 major parts to this. And when we look at the worksheet, okay, you're going to see part 1. We're going to do 1 through 3 today. Okay. We're going to do 4 and 5 on next Tuesday. Part 2. We're going to do the first part of part 2 next Tuesday. And then day 3, we're going to do the rest, 3 through 7. And then we're going to finish and we're going to do part 3. Okay. So there's 3 like main parts, kind of building and analyzing, like, what would you do? How do you restart? What is life going to look like? Okay. So going back over into Canvas, part 1. All right, is going to be worth 15 points. So looking at that is, I think it was how many questions? 5 questions. So that's going to be 3 points each. Okay. If we go back over, so part 2 is worth 20 points. And one says 9 questions. I believe there's 7. 21 points. There's 7 questions. Okay. 7 questions. I need to update the rubrics here. There's 7 questions worth 21 points. And then finally, part 3, okay, and stuff is going to be worth the rest of those points for a total of 50 points. All right. This is technically due not, so the 5th is the following, not this coming Monday, the following Monday. Let me just double check that. Okay. So yeah, so that's going to be on February the 5th. That's a Monday. All right. So like I said, we're going to start it today and then we're going to finish it on next Tuesday and next Wednesday in class, or next Thursday, whichever day that you have me, since I'm recording this. Okay. But just so you kind of can see the point breakup for each section. Okay. All the directions and everything are within the document. Okay. So I know some of our projects, it'll be on this page, but in this case, all of them are within the document. Okay. So let's jump over to the document and let's get started. All right. Okay, so 3 parts. This is worth a summative grade. All right. And the learning intention is to create our own government and economic in a post-apocalyptic world, simulating or utilizing economic principles that we've been learning about. All right. So step 1, we are starting from scratch. You have survived the zombie apocalypse. All right. As a leader, you and some of your followers, fellow survivors, have to set up a new town. What are you going to name this town? Okay, this is the one that's going to be the hardest. All right. So first order of business is to create your town. All right. Or name your town. So what is going to be the name of your town? So I'm going to give you a couple minutes. All right. Come up with something and throw it there in your document. All right. We're literally going to do this as we go. And as you come up with ideas and stuff, complete it as we go. You can see we even went through and timed we're going to spend in each one. or the goal. Newfoundland. Okay, that's a good twist. I like it. Yeah, it's cool if it's a little symbolic or something like that, a little personal. Zoorumbi. Zoo zombie. Zoorumbi. I like that. Hopeful meadow. I don't know. That might be too hopeful to me. Might be too optimistic. But you can name it whatever you want. Lost Oasis. Oh, I like that one. I like that one. Lost Oasis. Town motto. Hopefully you live. I know it's terrible, right? I'm laughing at all this. I feel like you'd have to laugh in those circumstances because life is so dire. You just gotta like, it is what it is, right? You're doing your best. All right, pick one of these. These are all great. Pick one. Put it in Phoenix. Okay, yeah, that works. The new rising, the rebirth. All right, we're going to move on to number 2. How are we doing? We got a name. Like I said, I'm going to kind of stick to the timeline. I want to make sure that don't overthink it. Fun if, yeah, the ones you guys are putting, yeah, you get the drift, okay? Like, don't just call it, I don't know, like Candyland or something, like, it'd be nice if it was more on topic or something like that, okay? All right, so number 2, let's take a look at number 2. So number 2, what are your main economic goals? Choose 2 or 3 goals. Why did you choose these particular goals? What trade-offs are you making by selecting these goals? Okay, so we're going to watch the video, okay? We're going to look at the different economic types, all right? And then from that, it will help you pick your economic goals, okay? So we're going to watch the video. We're going to write down. So if I were you, grab a piece of paper, take some notes real quick, okay? What are the 5 economic goals? And then we'll discuss.
Hi, I'm Brandon Guich, and this is Economics 101. Today, we'll be going over...
Grab something to jot them down real quick, okay? Because they're going to give you 5 economic goals, and your goal then is with number 2 to narrow it down to 3, okay? So you're going to jot these down, and he goes pretty fast. It's only a little over a minute.
I'm Brandon Guich, and this is Economics 101. Today, we'll be going over the 5 economic goals. So, the first of the 5 economic goals is growth. And growth is just growth within the economy, families, and just overall growth, getting more things, and it's great for everyone. Second of the 5 economic goals is freedom, which means any individual is free to choose any item they want to purchase and also to start any business, and this relates back to how the United States is run by a free market. So everything is free, the government has no laws or regulations per se over the economy. The third economic goal is efficiency, which basically means the maximum output possible when producing something. So whether it's efficiency in producing cars and also efficiency when working and making money to support your family. The fourth economic goal is security, which means everyone has a minimum and everyone is secure within their finances, jobs, and a stable government. The fifth and final economic goal is equity, which means equal distribution of output, including goods and services. For instance, sharing is caring. Well, that ends this segment of Economics 101. Hope you learned something.
Okay, so I quickly kind of jotted him down. Sorry, I was running a little bit behind. He was talking fast and stuff, so if you took some notes. So the 5 kind of goals, okay, that any society or economy should have is you want to see growth. A sign of a healthy economy is growth. So that means growth in your population. You got to reproduce. If we don't have children, if we don't reproduce, we die out as a species. That sounds very archaic, but it's the truth, right? I mean, you have to reproduce, okay? Do we have enough food? Do we have food production? Is our resource of food growing or is it shrinking? So we have that renewable source. Freedom, we get used to that really here in this country and stuff. Do we have the freedom of choice to, what kind of foods or what kind of jobs we want to do within the town or what kind of services we want to provide? Do we have the freedom to come and go from that society, or do we have to stay? What freedom of movement do we have? Efficiency, we want to maximize, are we finding the most efficient way to produce food? So can we find tractors, or can we find machinery or things to help us produce power, to produce solar, to produce energy, to, till the ground, to, help us with the chores and things that need to be done? Security, this is a big one. I think it's really easy to overlook this, but think about this. You are in a post-apocalyptic world. Are you safe? Do you have walls around you so you can sleep at night? How are you going to do that? Is there enough food? Do you feel safe? Is there security in having enough food that you're not starving? Are you safe and that you have shelter? And then equity. How are we trying to ensure in this new society that people are being cared for? Is it what you put in, you get out? The more hours, the more you get? Is it just no matter what, everybody gets the same? Is there some kind of currency barter system? Well, you haven't worked for a week, or you've been over here just kicking rocks, and this person's been, doing whatever. Is that going to change what they get? So how are you going to determine how you disperse the goods? You know what I mean? Because let me tell you, if you just say everyone gets the same, you might want to create a safety net of that, because people will get angry real fast if they're working hard and they get the same amount as someone who isn't working. Do you see what I mean? So those are things to consider. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to pick 3. What are the 3 most important out of the 5? Now, it's easy to say all 5 are important, but you got to pick 3. And what's the trade-off? So what are you focusing on? And then what's the trade-off? So let's say, for example, for me, probably one of the first ones would be security. The threat of zombies are still out there, so I might want to make sure that I have a wall. I want to make sure I have some kind of full-time security force that is manning the wall or going out and doing patrols. That would probably be my first goal, given the if you've ever watched, again, those Walking Dead, The Last of Us, that would probably definitely jump in for me. The trade-off might be is that I don't have as much personnel for farming, or for, some of the other things and stuff, because I'm going to be really focusing on security. So like maybe building some kind of border around the town, like a wall or some kind of fortification to keep us safe from, and I think it's not just zombie too. You have to worry about other raiders, right? A lot of those shows they talk about, sometimes it's really dangerous, the people you come across. So just kind of think about that. So pick the 3 most important to you, and then be realistic. If that's your focus, what might be a trade-off? What might suffer? So for me, if I really focus a lot on security and fortification, then I might suffer, and that I might not have as much security, maybe with growth. You know what I mean? Capacity and food production. Okay, so pick 3. And then what do you think would be the trade-off? Let me know if you have questions, if you're not sure. And the reality is you can't have it all, especially when you're trying to rebuild, and under those circumstances, something's going to be possibly neglected. Yes, go ahead, Kenneth.
Which do you think is the least important?
See, this is where it's going to be opinion. See, that's a hard one. Like, they're all like, again, we're talking survival. So you have to think you're not living under your current circumstances. You're living under, literally, you could die in 10 minutes. You could die from starvation. Someone could raid you. Somebody could, like, the threat is real. So you're in survival mode. So I would probably guess on freedom and equity. Those would probably be my, maybe freedom and efficiency. I think freedoms would decrease, because do what you need to do or get out. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there would be an attitude of no dead weight, personally, and not really a lot of time to sit around and diplomatically discuss everything. I feel like there's going to be a lot of action.
In my opinion, it's freedom and growth.
Okay. Yeah, I think I agree with you on growth. Actually, that's a good point.
Because in my head, it's like, how long do we actually have to, be in this situation?
Right.
'Cause-
And are we really trying to have more people to provide for when we can barely provide for ourselves?
Because it's always been in my headspace, in a
Mhm.
somewhat realistic situation, that if you could
Mhm.
survive at least like 4 years, then by that time there's no more zombies because they'll just they
Right.
decompose.
Or you're efficient enough that you could ward them off, or, you have enough people to have a decent security force to secure your freedom.
And more people just means more problems.
In this kind of circuit, again, you watch those shows, I think you have to think, you can't think by today's standards, you got to think like crisis standards. And in that case, you do really revert back. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Maybe growth. And I think equity or freedom, because I guess to me, equity would be important to me as long as everybody was putting in. But in this circumstance, I think that if people weren't contributing, I think I'd have a pretty short tolerance for that. You know what I mean? Where I'd be like, you got to go, you got to contribute, or you got to go, unless you're like 95-year-old grandma, you know what I mean? I think people have to, but also making sure it's fair. Like there isn't somebody that's hoarding all of the medical supplies or the food or things like that. I don't know. It's a hard one. That's what I mean. You kind of feel bad no matter what you don't put. So I'll give you like 2-3 more minutes, and then we're going to move on to number 3. Any of you finding this hard? Do you kind of feel crummy? You're like, oh, that looks bad. Oh, you can't worry about how it looks because it looks bad no matter what you leave out.
No, this is easy.
You're practical, Kenneth. I like it. You're like, get over the emotions. Let's do this. Oh, give me a thumbs up if you're finding this easy. Thumbs down if you're having a hard time choosing. All right. Oh, you guys are the business. You're like, this is survival. You're like, everything out the door. Your feelings, who cares? Let's do this, right? Like, here's a tissue. We're moving on, Okay. Make sure to get full points on this, okay? That you've listed 3 off of that list and potentially then what that focus is, okay? So you could even, I don't mind if you pull from the chat kind of my descriptions, you could copy and paste those in if you wanted, the 3 you're going to do. But then what's that trade-off? So like I'm saying, if security is a major focus for me, so we've got to cut down poles, we got to build a wall, we got to fortify it, we got to scavenge for weapons and things like that. We have to have people running security. Something's going to be a trade-off. So it'll probably potentially be efficiency. Like maybe we don't have as many people doing food production. And maybe it won't be that way forever. Maybe that's just initially while we're getting set up. So you just have to think, like you only have so many people. What are you going to prioritize? So, and that's just my example. I'm not saying you have to do that. You might have to, again, momentarily, freedom might be the trade-off. People might be like, well, I don't want to do that. Well, then don't stay with us. If you're not contributing to our safety or our food production, off you go, So maybe momentarily, people don't have a lot of choice. They have to jump in and do stuff, maybe equity becomes really important to you. So you're like, that means that person who, says they need more medical supplies, you're like, no, everybody gets a set amount of aspirin or antibiotics, and we're not going to exceed that. So maybe that means sometimes you have to make tough choices and you seem like the bad guy. I don't know. You have to think we live in a society today where it's unending, it seems. We don't do that to people, but you might have to have a different mindset. Supplies are limited. Okay. Are we ready to move on? I got to get number 3 done. We're good? All right, let's do it. Okay, so number 3. Number 3 says, what 4 types of what type of economy is in your new town? Describe how the economy will work. Okay, so we're gonna watch the quick video. It's gonna list the 4 types and explain. You're gonna pick one, Okay, so you're going to pick the style, you'll put it here, and then you're going to describe how it works. And we'll discuss it a little bit after the video. Okay, so here we go.
Nearly every society in the world faces the same fundamental problem: how to distribute limited resources to people in a way that will be fair and effective. This is what is called scarcity, and different societies approach this problem in different ways. There are 4 essential types of economic systems. The traditional economy is based on culture and rituals, and is focused on the community as a whole. Everyone pitches in and benefits from everyone else's efforts. Small societies focused on subsistence farming and hunting are considered traditional economies. An example would be a traditional Inuit village in North America. A command economy relies on the government to make all economic decisions, including allocating and distributing resources and regulating prices and wages. A modern example of a command economy would be North Korea.
Think communism.
A market economy is driven by consumers whose decisions determine how the industries and financial markets will operate. Individuals choose how their resources are used, what goods to make, what services to provide, and what jobs to take. In a pure market economy, there is no government involvement. Because of this, there are no true pure market economies. Most societies today have mixed economies, which utilize limited government involvement while also applying free market concepts. One example would be the United States. However, nearly all other countries are some form of mixed economy as well. Each is unique and faces the challenge of finding proper balance between consumer choices and government control.
Okay, I'm going to keep that up there for a second. So there are 4 types. So traditional economy is going to be a smaller population. So they said think like tribal, so probably no more than, less than 1,000 people and stuff where everyone contributes, everyone receives and stuff. Usually it's a barter system. It's not based on currency. A command economy. So think communism. Where the government, and we talked about this yesterday in our video, where the government holds everything, decides everything, distributes everything, okay? Total ownership. And individuals have no say on what is being produced, how it's being produced, or how much. Market economy is like total, so think industrial revolution, everything's privately owned. And the government has no involvement. So market might be a pure market economy would be probably hard in a new settlement because if every single person's doing their own thing and there is no centralized, if there's no centralized cooperation, right? How are you going to meet any of your needs or actually create safety? Mixed is like what they said most Western countries live in today, where we have some government involvement creating regulations, so rules for how to run business, but we still have that free market where individuals can own their businesses, but then make sure that they're reporting to the government, collaborating, that they're following certain guidelines and rules, okay, to create more fairness and reduce inequity. Okay, so your assignment for this one is to pick one of the 4, okay? What's going to be most reasonable for your situation, okay? Is your civilization gonna really have more than 500 people, 200 people, 300? Can you have that many even? Maybe, on some of these shows are like 130, sometimes they got 10. So you also have to think realistically the size. So maybe not ideally what you want, but what would be realistic for a rebuilding in an apocalyptic society. So which one? And then give a general description of how you would have it work. Okay, let me know if you have questions. So we're filling out number 3. Pick one and then explain how it would work. To me, traditional would probably be the go-to. If you're going to pick another one, you're going to have to give a decent description of how you really think that's going to work. Is currency reasonable to be thinking about during this time? Or if you're going to be bartering, if you imagine it's going to be bartering or just everyone puts in and then everyone gets a quota. So if equity is really important to you, you're probably going to be traditional under the circumstances of an apocalyptic environment.
Hi, I'm Brandon Guich, and this.
All right, how are we doing? We ready to wrap things up? Anybody stuck? Need some help? I did put summaries in the chat. I even listed the basic here on it. So I mean, I think you've got quite a bit of assistance. So make sure when you're saying how it works, like, are you going to do barter? Are you going to have currency? Are you, if people want to live, are you going to do a command market where you and some others make up a council and you run everything and people have no choice? So they have to agree to basically become an employee of the government and just work and don't ask questions. And you could do that. I mean, like I said, nobody's saying right or wrong. You're the one that's got to figure this out. All right. So once we're done with that, all right, that's where we're going to stop for the day. Okay. So make sure you save that to your Google Drive, government folder, something like that. Okay. We did the course ARC on last meeting. Okay. I gave you your review guide for the quiz. You can also find that on the lesson recording page for week 4 if you need to. We gave some time for the Everfi marketplace economy. All right. So if you didn't finish that up, get that submitted. Make sure it's the full proper screenshot. Like I've been over a bunch of times. So make sure that it looks like this. Okay. So please, because I will ask you to resubmit.
Hi.
Okay. And then we started our zombie project. Okay. So next week, we're going to finish up part 1 and get through part 2 on Tuesday. And then our last meeting next week, we will finish up part 2 and get part 3 done. All right. So we're just going to do basically like we've been doing. We'll discuss. I'll have some video clips and we'll go through as we build this new society and kind of think of the world in a different way. All right. The project is closing. It's closing this Friday. The Cash Free Society, the Module 8 project, that closes this Friday. So if you've not gotten that in, the 1 through 6 task or the infographic, get that in by Friday. Okay, it will not reopen because that's already been double the time. Okay, and stuff. So we focused on the 3 basic economic questions this week and how does society determine to answer them? And it depends on the type of economy you choose, right? Are you traditional? Are you mixed? Are you a free market or are you a command economy? All right. Have a great weekend. If you need additional assistance, come see me on Friday for small group. I'll have my Friday announcement as always. Otherwise, I'll see you next Tuesday and we'll pick up where we left off working on the zombie project. All right. Thank you so much.